like a classic scenario of when an adolescent boy picks up his first cigarette. Out there in one of the houses, there is a boy who somehow cannot help but has developed this intellectual curiosity. Does God exist? Now his parents think it's very judgmental and he should not be asking this question. So they say, when for centuries together we have believed in God, who are you to ask this question whether God exists or not? Simply go and pray. Somewhere else out there in another house, prime adolescent, there is a boy who is interested in knowing what is puberty, what is sex. At that age, these questions do come, expressions of growing years. But it's not a family where such discussions can happen between the son and the father. So either the son hesitates to even open this topic, or if he did, the father just discounts the whole thing, saying that, shameless fellow, what are you talking to a father? Some of these two boys meet somewhere on the road. This boy is not interested in talking about God, and that boy is not interested in talking about sex, but they don't have anybody else to talk with each other. So they need a common interest, a common context by which both of them can be together, and cigarette becomes that common interest. Somewhere he wants to be accepted by that gang. He craves for the social acceptance. There is a craving on all of us to be with people who will allow us to be ourselves. And for the sheer want of peer acceptance, he has to show interest in something that the gang is interested in. And because they wish to smoke, smoking is not his interest. To have those friends as his friends is his interest. But to gain an entry, he has to show, I am also interested in what you are interested in. So he picks up an habit which they practice, and thus gains peer acceptance. But they will never have to go through this. If somehow the child finds himself celebrated in his own family for what he is, as important it is part of parenting to correct a child, to give feedbacks to children, to tell them where they are wrong. I really think it's equally important to recognize where they are right, to appreciate for what they do good. Somewhere this continuous process of communicating to children only when we need to correct them creates a feeling then that in your eyes they are not good enough, so you don't love them. So somewhere part of parenting, if that balance can be there, where as much as it is your responsibility to correct them, what are parents there for otherwise, if you can't mirror your children unto themselves? But if you can also celebrate the good qualities in them, appreciate them many times, tell them you love them irrespective of. If so many times you can help them to understand how much you cherish them, the craving for an external peer acceptance will not be so desperate that they don't mind stooping down into certain habits for the sake of peer acceptance. So somewhere, much more than what you think you can be with your children, please understand, what they can be with you is going to determine whether they want to be with you a lot more or with their friends.